Hello, my name is Tia, the Hard Hat Queen, and today I'm very excited to share with you my own personal creation recipe for mac and cheese. But before I get into that, in case some of you haven't been watching all of my videos, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I live in Atlanta with my husband. We have run and operated a construction-based business, and although I'm not doing the physical labor part of it, my role right now is estimating, marketing, day-to-day operations, customer service, human resources, and I'm also a certified color consultant by Dewey. So as you can imagine, all of that keeps me fairly busy, and for that reason, for a long time, I have, used that as an excuse not to get on YouTube. But finally, maybe a little over a month ago, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just kind of got started with some ideas and just decided, hey, I'm just going to just do it. And however it comes out is, what you see is what you get. But anyway, I hope that you guys can be patient with me and bear with me as I go through this YouTube journey. I have been enjoying it so far, meeting some really positive, wonderful, and friendly people who, it's just been a pleasure. So if you want to learn more about me and get to know who Tia is, before I get into that, the Hard Hat Queen, that name just kind of came to me. I'm a woman in a male-dominated arena and learning to thrive through that challenge and enjoying it at the same time. So with that, I'm also very in touch with all of my femininity, and I love everything domestic and beautiful, from decorating to cooking, and cooking especially is one of my favorite pastimes because it really relaxes me. I can have a long, hard day, but if I come in and just create a wonderful meal and everyone enjoys it, then I'm good to go. Right now, my husband and my nephew are the two guys that I have to feed. So two men, that can be a little as you can imagine, they eat a lot, so I cook a lot. But anyway, if you want to learn more about me and also to learn how to create this wonderful mac and cheese, which is just in time for the holidays. Not a dish you want to cook on a regular basis. There's a lot of cheese and butter and all that good stuff. But it is something that I do cook maybe twice a year, especially around the holidays. And I think you'll really love this dish. So if you want to learn more about the dish and see me cook it for you, then stay tuned. Okay, and here are all the items that you'll need to make Tia's macaroni and cheese. We have Monterey Jack cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese. All of these are shredded. Now we also have Philadelphia cream cheese. I've used this with regular and less fat, and it's great both times, so hey, why not save the calories? We also have the light sour cream. And both of these containers are 8-ounce containers, so that's enough for the entire 9 by 13 dish of mac and cheese. Now, this is all they had left. Typically, I would get Mayfield's, but whipping cream, I really don't have a preference. So I got this Kroger brand heavy whipping cream. And then I have some salted butter, 1 stick of butter, 4 medium to large eggs. And then we have some white pepper and a little bit of coarse kosher salt, which is what I prefer to cook with most of the time. And last but not least, we have a can of Carnation evaporated milk. Just one 12-ounce can is all you'll need for this. Just keep in mind, depending on if it's too thick or whatever, when you mix it, you can have a little bit of regular milk just to fill it in. But I'll show you later on exactly how much liquid to ratio you should have in this dish. But that's it for all of your ingredients. Okay, we're going to start by boiling some water and have a heavy saucepan here. I'm going to go ahead and salt the water. That's about a teaspoon of salt. I'll add just a tad more. This is going to get all the flavor into the pasta. Once again, I have my box of pasta going into the water. Once again, this is a pound of pasta. And we're just going to kind of let that simmer. And of course, we need to kind of give it a stir to also help the pasta to keep from sticking. Okay, as you can see here, I've taken half of the cheese and I've literally cut it in larger chunks because I'm going to melt this down actually to make a cheese sauce. But then I also have the other half, believe it or not, this is half and half. And this is chopped up into large chunks because that's also going to go into the pasta later on. So we'll have kind of like a double cheese thing going on, a cheese sauce as well as the chunks of cheese throughout the pasta, and that's what makes this one so savory. Okay, so let's get started with the mac and cheese. While I have the pasta boiling, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to make the sauce. The good thing about this macaroni and cheese is that it has a cheese sauce and also it's going to have chunks of cheese. So what I've done here with the Velveeta is I've chopped up half of it in larger chunks because I'm just going to melt this for the sauce. And these other pieces that I have in chunks are going to be actually incorporated into the pasta when I go to combine it with everything together. So not only does this macaroni and cheese have the eggs and the milk, but it's got multiple cheeses, the cheese sauce, and the chunks of cheese, which is going to bring this pasta together into a very, very hearty, stick to your bones type of mac and cheese. So stay tuned for the rest. Okay, let's get started with the sauce. So as I've said before, I'm just going to dump in my chunks of my larger pieces of cheese. From my stick of butter, I've separated off 2 tablespoons, so that goes in as well. And then we're going to take half of that evaporated milk and pour that in as well, along with about about a quarter of the heavy whipping cream. There's really no need to really measure here. But in addition to that, I am going to pop in a little of my salt. I want that to be very flavored. And a pinch of the white pepper. And the reason why I use white pepper is just because it doesn't come off into the sauce and distort the color. Macaroni and cheese is not something you really want to see black pepper flakes in. So that's it. We're going to go ahead and get this over to the to the oven. I'm going to turn this on medium-high heat and I'm going to just let this go until it combines into a really nice sauce together. This is probably going to take about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. We'll just keep this going. I want the butter to melt and all the cheeses to melt into a nice milky consistency. We'll come back to that in just a minute, but that's basically all there is to do with the sauce. Okay, so now that the pasta is ready to go, I've got this boiled and drained. And the key is that you definitely want to keep this pasta hot so that it helps the cheese to melt while you're combining it all together. So we have our pasta there. And we're going to start by putting in the butter. You could go ahead and melt this butter, but today I just kind of have it at room temperature. So I'm going to get this all combined with the butter and just melt that into there. Once again, you can just already have the butter pre-melted, but I just decided to skip that today. So as you can see, it's melting down fairly quickly, and you just want to keep tossing that around until the butter is nice and melted. Okay, so that's about good to go. Now I'm going to pop in all of this cheese, the Velveeta. And here I have some Monterey Jack cheese. Oops, let's get that one in there. We don't want to miss out on any of this cheese. I'm not doing any measurements here, but this is approximately about a cup of Monterey cheese. 3/4 of a cup to a cup. We're also going to have some shredded cheese. And I'm going to do the same thing. Approximately a cup of that. And last but not least, we have some mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to put about 3/4 or so of a cup of that. And we're going to just continue to mix this all together. So the ratio of cheese to pasta here is probably about 50-50. And we're just going to continue to just get this all melted in and stirred in very nicely together. So let's go ahead and get back to the cheese sauce. As you can see, it's taken about 5 minutes or so, and everything is just about melted. We have the Velveeta just kind of still melting a little, but we want to be careful not to let this stick. So as soon as it starts to simmer, you want to just turn the heat down and just come back and stir it frequently just to check and make sure that the butter, the milk, and the cheeses are coming together. Now let's get back to the pasta while we're waiting for that cheese sauce to fully come together. I have here some sour cream, and I'm going to take, this is an 8-ounce container. I'm going to use about half of this. So about 4 ounces of the sour cream. And I'm also going to take another 4 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. And I'm going to put about half of that in here as well. So you may be wondering why the cream cheese and why the sour cream. Well, this macaroni and cheese is my personal creation, as I said, but it's macaroni and cheese that's kind of come together over a few years. And what I'm doing, I'm just mixing this and combining it all together. But in my family, I grew up in South Carolina. We're all huge on sharing recipes and cooking and soul food and all of that stuff. But basically, my mom's macaroni and cheese was always kind of decent. But about 10 years ago, she came across a recipe that had sour cream in it. And she kind of put that together. And that really improved our family holiday dinners dramatically. But since that, I've kind of started experimenting with different macaroni and cheeses, and the sour cream just kind of took me on a journey where I thought about other things. So the cream cheese kind of came to mind one day, and so that's how, you know, my macaroni and cheese was kind of born. Okay, so we're back to the sauce here, and as you can see, it's all one smooth consistency. This is about the consistency you're gonna get with that, and that's fine. It's gonna bake and just really wrap this pasta in some wonderful. All right, now back to the pasta. I have it mixed together with the pasta, the cheese, and the sour cream, and the cream cheese is all combined together. I just want to salt this just a little to give it an added flavor. That's about a teaspoon, and once again, I'm gonna come in with a teaspoon or so, or just a little more than a pinch of the black pepper. All right, so now that my cheese sauce is ready to go, first thing I'm gonna do though is put in my eggs, and I have 4. I wanna make sure you crack this on a smooth surface so you don't break any of the shells and allow that to get into the pasta. So once again, 4 eggs. The eggs are really gonna help to bind this macaroni and cheese together. And that's my last egg. All right, so now it's getting a little thick, but I like that. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now I'm gonna get this egg really combined in with the cream cheese and the sour cream. And this may look labor intensive, but really it's not. I mean, the hardest thing probably was chopping up the cheese. Other than that, you're just melting a sauce and combining some other cheeses with the pasta, and you are good to go. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do now is just pour in my sauce that's all. So there you go. A nice cheese sauce. Very creamy and rich. And full of flavor. Now the last step to this macaroni and cheese, I hope you're finding this to be very easy, because it really, really is. You know, a macaroni and cheese can't have enough cheddar cheese, so we're gonna add 1 more cup of cheese in there and just kind of stir that together. And ladies and gents, this is it to the macaroni and cheese. Very simple, very easy, full of cheese, full of butter, full of everything. Actually, no. I have 1 more thing in here. I'm gonna put in some more evaporated milk and just another pinch of salt. And just for the heck of it, I'm going all the way today since I'm doing this for YouTube. And I'm going to put in another cup of that cheddar cheese. Okay, so we've got the macaroni and cheese all mixed up. The last step is just getting it in the oven. So I have a 9x13 dish here, which I'm going to spray out really quickly with just some regular, I don't even know what they call this stuff, the spray, the non-stick spray, but this is an olive oil one. And I'm just going to take my pasta and pour it right into this dish. Perfect! Works every time. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of spread this out just a little. And the last step is just to sprinkle one last little bit of cheddar cheese on top before I put it in the oven. Okay, and the last step is putting it in the oven. I have it preheated at 350 degrees. It's going to bake for about 30 to 35 minutes or until the top is bubbling and golden brown. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes and I just put it out of the oven, so here it is. And as you can see, it has a wonderful, really dark brown. Once it starts to get these really dark, brown peaks, then it's pretty much done. You can see it's cooked around the top. And just to let you know, it's really firm, as you can see. So this is a big, huge deal of the mac and cheese. So I'm just going to serve up a small little scoop here just so you can see how tasty it is. Okay, so I'm just going to serve up a nice little taste here. Let you see how this looks. Okay. See how beautiful that is? Still really a little hot, but as you can see, it's really nice. Now that is super cheesy. We've got the mozzarella, the Monterey Jack, a nice crunchy top to it. Now I'm going to go in for the taste. Oh my God. It's so creamy and thick with the cheese. Now, though it may have seemed like I was adding a lot of salt, the milk really takes away and kind of makes this a little bland. So I salted it all those times. Probably a total of about 2.5 tablespoons of salt, and it's just perfect. It's not too salty at all. So please make this dish. Please get a good look at this, how cheesy and ooey and gooey that is. It's absolutely wonderful.